So yes, Mburu Njoroge, episode 5 of the Hunja Active podcast. Karibu sana, karibu sana. Hey, hey,
Asante
hey.
sana. Asante sana.
So yeah, tell the people who you are, a little bit about your career, and maybe a couple of reasons why we're having this discussion right now.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Mburu Njoroge. I am an energy engineer, and what that involves or entails is the design of energy that we get, let's say even at home, like Kenya Power.
Yeah.
There's a design behind it, but specifically, I mean, renewable energy. And we do geothermal energy in the Rift Valley. So that's where I'm focused on.
Yeah.
I'm also switching up my career. I'm currently studying nuclear science to be a nuclear scientist.
Buddha.
So,
when people say they're switching up their career, they usually say, "No, I'm going to become a dancer," or thinking of going into writing. Nuclear science. Wow. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll also just get into that as we progress.
Yeah.
But the main reason we're talking today is about my mental health challenges. I have several mental illnesses, which I have been vocal about of late. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that short and straight to the point answer. I like it. It's going to be a very efficient interview.
That's how I roll. That's how I roll.
But all jokes aside, man, I definitely, we've known each other for quite some time, and
definitely.
When you started speaking about your mental illnesses, I think you're one of the people that has really understood the mind of someone that doesn't understand mental illnesses and communicated to that person, if you know what I mean. Like
thank you.
Understood the stigmas around it, and you formed communication in a way that the people that may have those stigmas can understand. Okay, so this is what this is. So this is how it's dealt with. So this is how it comes about. So tell us about your journey in terms of how you are diagnosed, what you are diagnosed with, and what you deal with on a day-to-day.
Okay. So I'll start with, let's say, like even from my childhood and growing up.
Yeah.
There's always been something quirky about me.
Okay.
And like very standoutish. Several things would be like, one, my love for science, as it was ridiculous. Like I was years ahead of where I should be at any given time. Yeah. But also another thing that's followed me from childhood till now is discipline. I absolutely lack it and get into problems all the time. So from school to work to relationships, all the time, discipline is an issue.
Yeah.
And so what happened is in 2019, late 2019, things had got so bad, I took myself to hospital. As in, I knew there was something wrong and I couldn't put a finger to it. And what came out was, okay, Mburu, you have depression.
Yeah.
But we've also picked up immediately that you have ADHD, and I didn't know what it is. So ADHD is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And contrary to what the name sounds like, it's not that we don't have attention. It's that we don't know where to focus our attention on. So we'll be focusing on everything at once and don't quite get things done. There's a lot of complexities to it, which maybe I can't go into too much, but also like the lack of discipline on my end, a lot of it stems from that. There's a condition in it called ODD. You'll hear a lot of abbreviations. So oppositional defiance disorder. So for example,
defiance disorder.
Yes. So if you told me that I must show up at this time for this call, I would not. But if you say it's a good idea we do it, then I feel inclined to oblige.
I see.
But anything that's from authority, the first reaction is no. Why should I do what you're saying?
I see.
So, and then also extreme emotional sensitivity. I may not come off that way in posting so much about my life, but I'm extremely sensitive, extremely emotionally sensitive. So as the treatment went on, The real monster now came out to be, and it was that I have bipolar disorder. And I don't mince my words when I say it's a monster. It's the worst. Okay, it's not the worst mental illness, but it's just really terrible.
Okay.
And it involves you switching between extremes of very high energy,
yeah,
and very low lows. In fact, specific type I have is extremely high energy, but the lows are extremely depressive to the point of suicidal ideation or action. So what happens also, that high energy is not really good. It's destructive. You feel untouchable, on top of the world. And these things now, they fluctuate. Not when people say, oh, you're bipolar, they might think today you wake up this way, tomorrow you wake up that way. It's more like it switches. Maybe you'll be on that high for 1 month and then the low for 4 months. And that's just the cycle that goes on. In fact, at this point, wow, you're not even losing track of the illnesses. I also have PTSD.
Yeah.
That's post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not a mental illness per se, or rather it's not genetic or this. The other two I was born with them. But my PTSD came from a traumatic event. In 2011, I was stabbed twice in the abdomen. And I've never dealt with the trauma of that.
Sorry about that, man. I think I do remember that incident. Yeah.
And so it was, it builds up into how I react in a stressful situation. I always assume the worst case scenario. Like it's I don't have, it's usually what? Fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
Mine is fight, fight, fight. Always just fight, get yourself into trouble.
Yeah.
Also, then this is something, anyone who's watching who's been through an extremely traumatic experience, that's on the line of life-threatening, there's something about devaluation of the quality of life. Like you feel you're dispensable. So like that concept, my mortality no longer scares me whatsoever. And it's quite a dangerous way to think. Yes. Now, just to add one more, which I'll also surprise you. It's not a mental illness, but has affected me mentally. I want to share, right now, I'm COVID positive. And it has messed with my mind.
Wow.
It's a dynamic people don't talk about in terms of COVID and mental illness. I am going crazy. As in, it's just being cooked up in your mind.
The anxiety
and thinking.
And everything of
Thank you. The anxiety. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if I was having a panic attack or if it was COVID closing up my chest.
Yes.
It's a mess, but I'm sure there are people there who have a similar situation. And so it's actually 4 things that are going on right now.
Wow, man. Wow. I'm so sorry about, especially the last one, because that's that one just surprised you out of nowhere, and it's definitely not the best cherry to put on the cake. Oh man, hey, and thank you so much. I mean, I didn't know, I was asking you for the interview, so thank you.
No, it's okay. That's why I'm drinking hot ginger water. That's why I have it.
Wow. So you're just cooped up, quarantined in the day.
And marinating in my own thoughts. And it's really putting me in dark places. Earlier today I was crying. I want to share that. I was crying my eyes out. And I was wondering, do I call you and reschedule? I was like, who's to say I'll be tomorrow? So we do it. I was like, we do it.
Oh man, thank you so much, and thanks for sharing. So in terms of your day to day, you've shared a bit of the dark places that these illnesses take you, the highs that can last for a month, 2 months even, and I think that's one really like gray area of bipolar that or the syndrome that people don't understand. They think it's just he's a moody guy. One time he's happy. He's just a guy for moods, that's
true.
But talk about like what a high can look like, because from my reading and from a bit of research, a lot of the most creative people in the world are bipolar because a lot of their creativity comes out when they're in that manic state,
Yes.
at their highest high.
True.
But that's why you find a lot of them, being also in a depressive state because they hit a low right after that. So how have you experienced that in your experience?
Yeah. So the high would start. If let's say we pick the starting point as the high is coming, you can sense it in your body in terms of you're talking a lot, you have a lot of energy, you want to almost sumbua everyone, call everyone, see them, and you can tell the onset is coming. It hasn't yet reached, but it's coming. When it actually hits, I clock easily 7 days without sleep, despite my medication. You're just up there. You can get a lot of work done, a lot, as in even the ideas you have are amazing.
Yeah.
And the problem, I was just explaining to a friend of mine, I was saying it's like having 10 different thoughts at once. So you're trying to focus on at least the one that would be productive.
Yeah.
But now if you listen to the wrong one, now the negative sides of that high come in. Things like spending all your money, you will easily just give it away. Doing risky behavior like drugs, driving drunk, risky sex. What else can there be? Like for me, I have very high impulsivity and PTSD, so I easily will get into a fist fight, easily. So it's a destructive energy if not channeled well.
Yes.
However, an interesting thing with this energy, it doesn't have even the bare minimum of discipline. So for example, like one thing I've really tried to, but unsuccessfully committed to throughout this year is a sustainable workout routine. I will pick it up, do it for all of 2 weeks. The energy goes, or my focus now goes to something else.
Yeah.
I'll be like, this is now what I need. This is the new thing. This is so it can be productive, but really it's a spark. And that's why the geniuses in the world and great famous people are known to have invented, like maybe released, like Kanye West has released the best album because it was in that duration. Maybe you didn't sleep at all, like for 2 weeks, and just hammered out really good stuff. But if it's something that requires sustained effort, like 6 months, what then you need to do is partner up with someone who has execution. So you'll come up with the idea and it fizzles out. But someone can then follow through. That's how then it will really work well with like the inventors. I think the fact that those things came to fruition, they came up with the idea, but someone else helped with the delivery. So that's how the high is. The low is a lot more terrible because everything is just tasteless in life. Absolutely everything. You start being sad, but it reaches a point you're no longer sad. You just absolutely don't feel anything. So you start questioning the point of life itself because you feel you don't exist or you deserve to not exist. I have the most severe level of depression, which is the depression with psychosis. I start imagining things that are not there. Like, go do this and that to yourself, go harm yourself. So I have to be, at that point, be in an environment that can ground me and pull me out of that. Because a psychotic episode, as a person going through it, you can't tell. You cannot tell the difference. It's like if I came to you right now and told you the computer you're using is a different brand, but you're like, no, I can see what I'm seeing. So there's nothing you're telling me. I know what I'm seeing. And I'm saying, no, the reality is this. So then you have that doubt of even your own faculties. You can't trust them. Usually in this cycle from the high then to the depression, at that point I get admitted into hospital.
Okay.
I mean, in the last year I've been in hospital. In the last 12 months I've been in hospital 3 months. I spent 90 something days in hospital. So it's sad, but it's what keeps me here.
Yeah. Man, so as in you mentioned the extremities of what you can go through with these conditions, and they have, you know, taken over your life and have had you've had to really navigate this maze. How long has it been since your first diagnosis?
My first diagnosis was May 2019. So it's been it's been a short time. That's a short time.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you, for example, there's a handbook I was reading on bipolar, and the average statistically in America, from the point of diagnosis in bipolar to semblance of normal life, is 4 to 5 years. In those 4 to 5 years, it is utter chaos, distraction, and a mess, as the patient is either figuring themselves out or deteriorating, or a mix of both. And so that's a metric I use to gauge myself and say, you know what, you're not hitting 4 years. You're already on the way there, as in you're going to beat that record. You're going to set a personal best.
Yeah. So what are you doing, or what are the different techniques? Like you mentioned, just a quick hack for anyone that has an episode that, you know, that's in the same crossroads as being an amazing inventor or creative person. Make sure you partner with someone who is going to carry that invention forward. If you ever go to a point that you don't have any energy towards it anymore because of the state that you're in.
Yes.
So what have you identified as the things that you need to do to be able to have a consistent improvement in navigating the highs and lows, so that we can actually beat that 4-year record?
So, and that's a very good question. The one word I would use is investment. Investment in terms of my support system, be it my family, my friends, and even like internet strangers who just jump on board and say, hey, let's be part of this. It's a journey that needs investment, in that I invest in them and they invest in me, so that we understand each other. Because when I am delusional or psychotic, in that case, I'm not going to trust anything anyone is saying. But that prior investment in just spending time with that patient when they're sick, when they're well, and just getting to know them and know their fears and know what really deep down is going on inside, is going to be able to break through that barrier of the mental block when the patient's mind is sick. It'll be able to say something to me and say, Mburu, but you see A, B, C, D, and I'm able to put myself on hold on the trust of what you say. So like, for example, my best friend has mastered that, and him through the phone, even a phone call, he can get me out of a very dangerous spot to a safe one in like 5 minutes because of investment. So that support system, it's not just enough to say, I have 5 friends, I have 5 relatives, I have 5. It's what is the quantity? What is the substance in that relationship? That are we spending time to just understand? Because once we go through these cycles, in between there's a lull where we feel perfectly quote unquote normal. And at that point, many times you feel, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? Why was I born this way?
Yes.
And it's really, really painful, because like I've realized there are situations I'll go with friends to a house party and I know I can't enjoy like them because I have to cut myself off so much earlier, because then I have no breaks. And so I'm wondering, why do I have to cut myself off? It's 7 p.m. I'm back home. People are partying till, let's say, before curfew days, because you can't handle it. And if I talk to, let's say in this case, my best friend about this situation, he's able, because of the investment, to understand me, get me, make sure I'm not going into a depressive state, and just bring me to reality and just say, hey, it's okay to feel that way. Your feelings are valid, but let's not now get depressed about it. That would be the main hack I'd say.
That's super good advice, and that's super important, man, for anyone. I mean, I'm over here at Unimaji writing notes, bro.
Dictaphone, eh? Yeah, voice recorder.
That's really brilliant, because I think we take for granted the relationships that we have and what they do for our long-term lives, because social media right now has diluted the meaning of a relationship.
True.
And I think it's very hard for us right now to identify the ones that we need to pour all our energy in, and recognize those as the investment, the long-term investments, not these M-Shwari investments that we have going around.
The flash in the pan.
I think one of my final questions for you is, cool. I have a friend who is exhibiting some signs of this, or maybe they have gone through the full diagnosis and know what is affecting their mind right now, and they're getting the right treatment, and they come forward and they tell me about this treatment, or I start to notice certain behaviors about someone I'm close to, a friend, a sibling. What are the do's and don'ts when approaching this mental illness? Because I know the don'ts. I know it. Don't tell them, see, you just be happy, or have you tried working out? I heard working out helps. Are you sleeping enough?
Yeah.
Interestingly, tell me.
Yeah, interestingly, I want to start with that don't that I picked up on recently.
Yes.
Mburu comes and sits down with you, and for 5 minutes straight, maybe I tell you about this particular mental health issue.
Yes.
And your first response is, don't worry, it will get better. If that's what you can offer, please, and I'm going to just call it out, please, si hata ungeniuliza, did you watch the game over the weekend? Yani, we just move to something else. Because
there's no value in that.
Exactly. You see, what that communicates is, by the way, I switched off a while ago while you were talking.
Yes.
And at Amma, you say, like, when I describe ADHD, there's this comment for, we all have a little of ADHD in us. And you're like, you're not listening.
Even me, I usually just, I can't forget as well.
Because there's a difference between like personality and something that's called a disorder or an illness. There's scientists and doctors that have studied it and come up with manuals to diagnose.
Yes.
A personality is totally different. Yes. Now, so that don't is, if you're indulging someone, and it's on any topic actually, it doesn't have to be mental illness, but a sensitive one, any sensitive topic, if you're going to indulge them, then please commit some time and energy and effort. Otherwise, just, it's okay to tell someone, I can't handle this topic.
Yeah.
And move. That's a don't. So the do's I have is be intentional about the support you're offering. If you do offer someone support, be intentional about it, because then it will manifest in different ways. Because I can't go through all the phrases that, you should say this, you should say that. I find those very superficial, because each situation is unique. But if you're just intentional and you're like, this person is acting funny, or whatever funny entails, different, your being intentional would actually give you a guideline without having to consult, what should I do? For example, I have a friend who, I don't know, without any prompting, and I was surprised that she did this, picked me up from my house, took me for ice cream, a drive and ice cream, and then dropped me back home and just said, like, that's that.
Yeah.
That is being very intentional. So it doesn't have to be quantified by money or time.
Yes.
But it can be quantified in terms of the effort, and just, I will be intentional. So it could mean, so-and-so, my friend has mentioned they're going through this. Let me just go on WebMD, try understand it. Let me not try one-up them in their story and say, even me, my auntie, had your situation, but hers was worse and she's doing better. When you're intentional, you'll find yourself asking yourself questions like, what value does this add to either this conversation or this person's life or our friendship or our relationship? So I think that word intention summarizes every then little thing that we'll do. But someone just says, I will commit and I will commit. And also intention will also give you as a support system the space to ask for your space, because our support people don't get enough credit. The people supporting us, because they also get affected. They say when someone is mentally unwell, the whole family is mentally unwell, or the whole support system. But in being intentional, your whoever can actually request time and say, I know you're in a really bad place, but I can't do it today. I'm also in my space. Could this other mutual friend or mutual person handle it? Now you as the unwell person will understand because of intention. Yeah.
Brilliant. Investment, intention.
Yes.
Brilliant. I am really liking this conversation. And now there's the outside looking in. What if it's you and you're going through some signs of depression, or you just want to talk to someone, or what are the steps? Are there some organizations out there, some numbers people can call, some pages they can reach out to? What can you tell people in terms of, I need some help, where can I find it?
Okay. It's interesting. In Kenya, we do have a lot of mental health support in terms of from doctors to psychologists to counseling centers, rehabilitation centers. And I tested this one day. I just did mental health Kenya. I Googled that. And it gave me a list of, near you, like a list of the facilities. Two that stand out to me, and I'll just do and share, Chiromolin Medical Center, so CLMC. They have a branch in Westlands, two in Lavington. Yeah, and I think even a facility in Red Hill, sides of Limuru. They have excellent staff, because that's where I went after I was referred to by a relative, like just go there. And I went in with no reference or nothing, just cold called. And while I was in, the secretary told me, oh, when you arrive, ask for so-and-so. And my therapist to date is that one. So it was a cold call, like I just walked in. And you see what I admire about that is the day you've decided to take that leap of faith and say, let me get help. It's such an anxious day and you're so nervous that if you're told, oh, you have to wait for 2 more days, you'll probably cancel. So the fact that you just walked in and I got the help I need is amazing. There's also Oasis Specialty Center. It's on, what's this road called? Peponi Road, as if you're on your way to Kitusuru from Westlands. Yes, close to that ring road that's just come up. They're also like that. They receive walk-ins, and they'll be like, maybe the doctor is out now, but you can see a psychologist in the time being.
Okay.
There's also, now the others, I don't have the numbers of it, but like even on Instagram and online, you can get numbers you can call immediately, even crisis lines.
Okay.
Like suicide prevention lines. Let's say you've experienced a traumatic event, especially like if we're talking about like in the event of like sexual traumas that either just happened or it's like maybe a few days past, but you need someone to talk to specifically about that. There are crisis lines for that. And also they give guidance on, okay, this is the next step and this is what we'll do. Now, that being said, with directing people to these different facilities, the whole mental health journey, by the way, starts and ends with you as a patient. And that's a bottom line, because my doctor can give me all the medications, I can get all the therapy I want, but if I keep self-sabotaging, I'll find myself not progressing. So likewise, getting to the facility or getting help is the first step, but it's good I be honest and say it is a very long journey in terms of how much work you have to keep putting in. You know, mental illness, the reason it's so tough is that you're using your mind to fight your mind.
Yeah.
Because your mind is sick, but you have to find the side that's not sick and they're fighting each other. It's a very difficult thing because you don't know who's going to win.
Yeah. Wow, man. Powerful. That's really powerful. And I'll definitely put in all the places you've mentioned in the description, just so people have quick access to them below.
Okay.
Right now you're fighting. You're fighting hard.
Yes.
The good versus the not so good in your mind.
Yeah.
There are many people who might be watching this that are going through the same thing. What's one message that you'd want to leave them with before we close?
The fight is worthwhile. Even when it seems it's not, I would urge you to fight and see that that is a momentary situation, but the fight is worthwhile. Keep fighting. Whatever solution you've found, whether therapy, a psychiatrist, or you're fighting it out on your own, just keep fighting because it is worthwhile. Once you come out of this or manage it, the world won't stop us. Yeah.
That's wow. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt and print it for thousands and thousands of people. Keep fighting, man. Once you conquer, the world will not stop you.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mburu. This has been fantastic.
Thank you, Isaac, man. I've loved it.
We should definitely do this again. Hey.
Definitely.
Hiya, man. I think you can call it there.
Yeah, watch I sanitize my laptop. Because of COVID. I have to. I literally have to.
Oh, man.
I've been talking on it. Yeah. But it's okay. I'm doing much better.
This one I can tell you without knowing I'm not crossing any lines that it will get better.
Yeah.
This one shall pass.
Asante. Asante. Sawa.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Bye.